Cameron, how does your work map on to whatever you see right now as the state of nature right now in the U.S.? I mean, in other words, how do you see yourself as an individual, the connections you're making, the things that you're doing? How does that map on to everything we were just talking about?
Yeah, well, I think I'd start by answering that by kind of piggybacking, the statement you made before that, and the question I would pose or frame is like, do we want to be well
Mm.
as a country, right? And so there is this attraction to having, a sore on your arm and picking it, right? And so it's like, do we want to be well? Do we want to heal, or do we want to continue to pick and pester? And so, from that, my next thought or framework is, you know, there are so many agents, and I use that word carefully because it may not be the best word to use, but there are so many agents in our lives that are asking us to turn our brains off, right? Instead of like turning our brains on. And so when you think about that for a second, to answer your question, I'm literally like on the side of the freeway holding up a sign saying, like, I need you to do whatever you do the best that you can. And I think that when you ignite the light of like the best version of yourself, it's almost like if anybody who's gone through any kind of like diet or like major like body shaping transition, it's like you're shedding a skin of yourself.
Mm.
And so, my framework is saying like, hey, here's a skill set that I have, like as just my natural skill set. I'm also like an extremely competitive person. So like I'm so driven to be the best version of myself that I'll also work on my weaknesses. But if that's not you, no problem. But if you're the, croissant maker at Panera Bread, when you wake up in the morning, put yourself in a framework to make like you're an artisan. Like your job is to create amazing art. And what that art looks like, you should have pride on. So whether it's a barista making coffee, whether you're digging ditches, whether you're cleaning poop out of like, as a plumber, it's like that is your art, that's your work. And I think that because so many people don't find value or no longer find value in what they do and in themselves, that it's almost a race to the bottom to pick that fester, right? And so almost to Brendan's point, it's like, yeah, I can't feel great if there is no social currency for me to be stop and go clerk. It's just a job. Then my day has no mission and has no purpose. And if I have no purpose, I turn my brain off. So when I turn my brain off, I let Facebook, Insta, whoever you call it, Fox, whatever you want to call it, I'll let that person decide my perspective, my opinion, my insight. And so to answer your question, I'm just saying like, wake up and be great at what you do, because what you do is a gift. And selfishly, I need that best version of you. I need the best croissant you can make when I get my breakfast versus just making one with no energy.
So you're, first of all, you are sort of doing as you preach, and you're trying to find purpose in everything you're doing. And it just so happens that the purpose that you have is in not only building people up so that they can see that purpose of themselves. You're also saying it's not just that you're giving a gift to somebody. It's selfish also. You're taking back a gift from people being the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, that's when we work as a country at our highest level of like, hey, this is my skill set. I'll bring it to the table. I'll pour it out kind of, I'll pour it out. So in the South, we have like crawfish boils in the spring, right? We miss crawfish season because of COVID. But what the dopest part about like a country crawfish boil is, you got the crawfish, I got the shrimp, you got the potatoes, I got the crabs, pour them on the table, and let's all eat. Let's collectively enjoy the fruits of what we have to bring. And so what I'm saying is like, yes, I want you to be invigorated when you go to when you go to your job, or when you do whatever you do, whether it's, school, work, whatever it is, because like when you bring that energy to that croissant, when you bring that energy to whatever it is you're doing, to your studies, to your work, you make me better. And I'm going to come every day ready to ring my bell and bring my A game. You owe it to me to bring me your A game as well.
Brilliantly put.